We are live. Trying to keep it down because my roommate just woke up, but hello, welcome to this live stream. I'm Kelsey. I'm the resident comic artist on this channel. I'm going to be drawing some comics here shortly. First, debating if I want to show the results of this poll because I run a thing called Sticker of the Month Club, and Sticker of the Month Club peeps get to vote on sticker designs for each month. Debating if I want to show the results now or if I want to wait a few minutes. Oh, another thing. I'm coming in at a different angle compared to usual. I'm standing up at my standing desk because Brie is laying on the floor in such a way that if I had sat down, my chair would have rolled over her tail, and I did not want that. So standing it is. All right. You know what? I think I'm going to delay the poll results for a little bit. I'm going to instead work on some comic art. So, boom. I was doing the shadows on the final panel of The Legend of Jamie Roberts, page 130. So that's what I'll be working on today. Debating on what kind of banner I want to show along the bottom, because I can show banners along the bottom of the screen. I was talking about the Sticker of the Month Club. I'll just have that. There is still time to join the Sticker of the Month Club. If you join, you get a sticker mailed to you, your actual physical mailbox, once a month. You get to vote on designs. And if we reach enough funding per month, I can expand out into including pins and prints and some other merch. Check that out. Link on the screen. Also link in the doobly-doo if you're watching on YouTube. Link in my bio if you're watching on Twitter, because this is simultaneously playing on Twitter. Technology, it's amazing. Okay, back to doing the final touches on Daniel here. Wait. There. Because that's how hair grows. So shout it out in the comments. How has your day been? Hopefully it's been good. Today started out a little bit rough for me because Brie decided to throw up like 10 minutes before my alarm clock went off. So that was one way to wake up. She's doing much better now. In fact, she's doing so much better that she has left her spot. So I'm going to move the desk down. Okay. This is small view, but watch the movie magic here. There we go. Brought the desk down. Now I can sit because I've been on my feet for most of the day, and it's really nice to just sit down. I mentioned in the previous live stream that, and I'll get to why I canceled on Saturday in a second, but last week's stream, I mentioned getting a gym membership, and I'm getting into the habit of going to the gym after my morning shifts working at the craft store that's down the road from me. So far, that habit has been holding. Thing is, I've not been going to the gym on the days that I do not work at this store. So like on the days that I do not work at the store, I just don't go to the gym. Which I don't necessarily know if that is a good thing or a bad thing yet. It does give my muscles more time to rest, but it also gives them a little more time to not necessarily atrophy, but lose the progress that they've been making. That's the thing about muscles. You got to keep using them consistently if you want to keep the gains. You know, one day I may do a live stream going actually in depth about anatomy for comics, or at least how I approach anatomy for comics. This was something that somebody in passing had mentioned in a live stream comment in a past live stream, and I just haven't done it yet. I've done other live streams talking about character design for comics, and you can check that out in my profile on YouTube. That's where all of my live streams are archived. youtube.com/c/KelseyC. Link on my link tree there. Hi, Chloe. Oh, thank you. I love this desk. I love it so much. It has a little like hidden compartment drawer. It's marvelous. Hi, Callie. Good to see you again. I am happy that all of us are lurking while we're working. No judgment here. I'll go ahead and bring up the Sticker of the Month Club banner again. I will reveal the poll results as soon as I finish the shadows on this page. They're just about done. Okay. Yeah. One of these days I will do a live stream talking about how I approach anatomy for comics. Because anatomy be a beast. Also, shout out to the Kickstarter backer who backed The Legend of Jamie Roberts Volume 1 and left a very nice little review for me on Kickstarter. It was like, I kid you not, one of the comments in this review was, "Oh my God, everybody in this comic is hot." And I'm like, that was unexpected, but thank you very much. I think part of it is just, you know, the pirates be thick. I think that's a good chunk of it. Also, I do love drawing me some silver foxes. Can't explain to you why. Oh, there we go. Okay. Eraser had a little bit of a hiccup. I had to hit the undo button. There. Throwing this out there, if there are any panels, like at comic conventions and anime conventions, there are panels where people can talk about whatever thing that they have expertise on or something that they're really passionate about. If there's a panel that you would like me to host here on a live stream, let me know in the comments, because I will be perfectly honest. I'm thinking about canceling my convention appearances again this year, considering everything that is going on with the global panini. So I do want to minimize my exposure as much as possible. And if that means doing more live streams and doing more virtual panels, I'm not opposed to that. I have hosted panels before, virtually and in person. I think I prefer the virtual panels, to be perfectly honest. It's a little bit like hosting a live stream, only a lot more eyeballs are watching. Okay, the shadows are just about done. I forgot a spot, a very obvious spot. Because there's a dragon in the background. Very important that it look like there is a dragon in the background. Okay, there we go. Okay, so along the bottom of the screen here, I got the link for Sticker of the Month Club, which is a thing that I do. Members, if you pledge $10 a month or more, you get a sticker mailed to your actual mailbox once a month. Members who give just $1 a month get the ability to vote on sticker designs. If you're a $10 member, you also get to vote on sticker designs, but being able to vote on sticker designs is something that everybody can do if you are a member of the club. That said, I did host a poll for the last week and a half, and I want to share the results real quick. There were 3 options. I usually keep it to just 3 options. And with this particular set of votes, I wanted to make a pride pin, but I had a hard time picking which variety of pride to make. And I'm not talking about like, because there are flags for like lesbian pride, genderqueer pride, non-binary pride, aromantic pride, and all that stuff. Like, no, I'm talking about just overall LGBTQ pride flags, because there's actually a variety of those as well. And there were 3 that I asked folks to pick from. And the winner was the Philly Pride flag. And yes, this is in the shape of a baby dragon, because I have a dragon baby that is just so cute. And I went, you know what would make this design stand out? Pride flag designs. And if you're one of the people who's like watching this live or watching the replay and you're wondering, where's the straight pride flag? I actually looked it up. I shit you not. Straight pride looks like, okay, you know the cartoon depictions of prisoners, and they're in the black and white striped uniforms? That black and white stripe pattern is the straight pride flag. because straight pride is just another prison. That's how I interpret it. I think it's funny. But this is the Philly Pride flag that is being shown on the screen, or at least the colors for it. And the voting was pretty close, because there were 3 different like overall pride flags to pick from. There was the original Gilbert flag. The original Gilbert flag is the one that has pink, the pink stripe across the top. That's the Gilbert pride flag, and that's the original one. The one that you see most places is the 6-color flag. That was made because pink was really hard to source for flag purposes. So they just narrowed it down a bit and just made it a straight up like rainbow. Then there was the Progress Pride flag. I'll go ahead and show that one because I did that one as a variant. So the Progress Pride flag has the chevron on the side that includes the black and brown for people of color and the blue, pink, and white for the trans flag. And the Progress Pride flag has the LGBTQ flag with the chevron with the other colors juxtaposed over it. Most places that I have seen who are trying to be more inclusive will use the Progress Pride flag, which is fine. There is no wrong pride flag to have unless you are a Nazi. Let me be perfectly clear on that one. Also, if you're a Confederate, that is the wrong kind of pride flag to fly. We're not going to get into that right now. But as far as like LGBTQ pride flags go, there is no wrong flag for those. It is your preference, whichever one that you want to fly. Most like churches that I have seen that are trying to be more inclusive will fly the Progress Pride flag, which is this kind of design that I have on the screen right now. The one that was voted the most and got the most votes was the Philly Pride flag. This is the Philly Pride flag because it debuted in Philadelphia at Philadelphia Pride. It has the usual Pride flag plus brown and black on top to represent people of color. We picked this one, and I will say a lot of people who support the Sticker of the Month Club they got a good designer's eye, because there was one guy in particular who looked at this and who looked at the options and went, this looks the best out of the available options because it doesn't have the chevron design popping out of nowhere, interrupting the lines and disrupting the shape of the dragon baby. But this looks the best, at least to him. And that was the comment that he left. And I'm like, okay, I can see that. I can see that. Later this year, I will be making the Progress Pride pins, or like the Progress Pride stickers thing, and I will get those into print. What the Sticker of the Month Club peeps voted on was which sticker would be released first this year. The first sticker is going to be this, the Philly Pride flag. So thank you, everybody, and the Sticker of the Month Club for your votes. This is going to be delightful. I've already got the stickers printed up because I have a home sticker printer set up. It's great. Here, I'm going to stop the screen share for a second so I can show you the stickers, because I have them already printed and trimmed, and they are so cute. Hand for scale. Look at this. It's so cute. It's a cute little dragon baby. Yes. And I also have, this is something I picked up from artists on TikTok. I started printing on the back my website, so that if I do go to in-person shows, or if somebody buys some sticker online through my Ko-fi shop, then they at least have this on the back of the sticker so they know where else to go. Shout out to the artists on TikTok who showed that little hack. I don't remember who it was that showed it the first time, but like, shout out to the artists on TikTok. Okay, back to the comics production side, because I want to get this page of The Legend of Jamie Roberts done before the end of the day. Let me just mark on the to-do list that it got done. I keep a little running to-do list on the side. Okay. All right. Now that the shadows are done, oh, I got to mark it in Trello as well. I use Trello to help keep track of all of my projects because I have a lot of projects going on at any given time. Here we go. Okay. So we're going to turn that shade layer off and we're going to form a new layer under the inks, which I did turn one of the ink layers off to make filling in the shadows a little bit easier. The layer that I turned off was the swirls on Igier's poncho-like top, which now that I'm looking at it, I missed a collar. It doesn't affect the shadows, but it does affect the swirls. So let me just go into the base inks and edit. There. Okay. Oh, and wand tool, so I can select this area. Turn the swirl layer back on. Delete. There we go. Easy fix. And that shouldn't affect the shading very much. No, it did not affect the shading very much. Cool. Save progress. Very important to save your progress. Okay. Now we have the color flat layer. And for this, I want to pull up a couple of different pages as color reference. So first, I'm going to pull up the Maliwe Castle Facade reference for the colors because this particular scene of the comic is happening in front of the palace. It's happening in front of the chief's house. I should say the chief's house. It's not necessarily a palace because anybody can go in there. I'm going to take advantage of this split screen effect that Clip Studio Paint can do and use that so I can ink dropper the colors that I need. Ooh, the ink layer actually has a separate, or the inks folder, because the folder is a bundle of layers. In this bundle of layers that I call inks, there is a layer for the facade of the chief's house. So I'm just going to turn that layer off and that'll make this so much easier. There. Okay. The things that I do to make life much less miserable. Okay. When I do the color flats for a comic page, I like to tackle the backgrounds first, then the figures, at least when it comes to big spreads like The Legend of Jamie Roberts. I realistically need to get back into that habit when making New Punk Signal. With New Punk Signal, it's been a hot minute since I've done 3-panel comic strips. I'm used to doing the full page spreads. And those are just a different mindset to tackle altogether. All right, I'm going to zoom in, make sure that I got the gaps. Ooh. It may be hard to see on the screen because I love StreamYard, I really do, but sometimes the quality of the screen can be a little blurred. What I'm doing is I'm going in and I'm zooming in on the places where maybe the paint bucket tool didn't get every nook and cranny, so I'm going in and making sure that any little itty bitty nooks are filled in. Okay. Oh. This one is just because of how the chin was drawn. Okay. Back into the inks bundle, turning the tapestry layer off. Oh. Maybe not. Let me turn that back on. I didn't realize that it would turn off the entire border of the tapestry. I thought it would just turn off the details. It does not. Oops. That's okay. I'm glad I caught this. Okay. Realistically, I should go back in and fix the inks for the tapestry and the facade because the dots per inch scales don't really match super duper well, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. That may be for future Kelsey to worry about. But in the future, I did modify the scaling of the Chief's House Facade original file that I keep using for references and copy pasting purposes. I did modify the size of that so it should be a lot less blurry moving forward. We will see how it goes in future pages. I'm just not worried about it in this one. I'm more interested in just getting it done. Oh, the windows. Right. I'm going to change that to refer only to editing layer because that'll fill in any gaps. Usually I have the paint bucket tool set to refer other layers. Because having it set to refer other layers most of the time keeps in mind the line works and colors within the lines, which is what I want. Excuse me, by the way. Today's tea selection is just Earl Grey decaf from Twinings with a little bit of honey in there. I'm going to leave the background for panel 2 white for the time being. I may color it in later. I may not. We'll see. Oh, this comic, The Legend of Jamie Roberts. I want to say something about it while I'm thinking about it. I'll get to that in a second, actually. I just saw that Callie had a question for me. Goofy question about how many layers do you usually have on a panel? I think it depends on the page. I will say most of the time I don't separate my layers based on comic panels. I do separate the layers based on the overall page. So there's a layer for pencils, a layer for inks, a layer for color flats, and the color flats apply to the entire page. And then there's a layer for shadows, if relevant, and if it's like a super duper dynamic lighting scene, I'll have a separate layer for highlights or another layer for like deeper shadows, depending. There were a lot of layers in the pages that happened at night in chapter 5. because of the dynamic lighting situations happening there. Usually, though, it's not that many layers. This file did have a lot of layers for the ink folders because there was the base layer of inks, there was the patterns on Agier's poncho, there was the tapestries, and there was the facade. And if there's a Mokta present on the page, the Mokta's blacks are also a separate layer. Usually. Now, usually I don't separate the layers based on panels, but there are times where, let's say there's a panel that has like a lot of detailed stuff to it, then I'll have separate layers for that sort of thing. Like separate layers for like, panel 5's tapestries, panel 5's panel 5's background characters, stuff like that. This doesn't necessarily come to play in this page. Okay. Trying to remember where my thoughts were before I got... I remember where my thoughts were before I got derailed. So I wanted to simultaneously post pages of The Legend of Jamie Roberts on its home website, thelegendofjamieroberts.com, and also Webtoon and Tapas. However, I was yesterday days old when I learned Webtoon does not allow nudity or even partial nudity. And that's kind of a problem because The Legend of Jamie Roberts has a lot of non-sexual spirit nudity. It is especially relevant in like chapters 3 onwards. And I'm like, well, I can't really tell this story without that. Like, that is relevant to the story. So, sorry, Webtoon comic readers, The Legend of Jamie Roberts is not going to be on your platform. I may see about getting other comics on there. Like, I think Puzzle Spell would be a good fit. Just not The Legend of Jamie Roberts, unfortunately. I would love to, but Webtoon is a bit of a stickler when it comes to nudity and partial nudity, and I'm not willing to go in and redraw things in The Legend of Jamie Roberts to make it fit. So if you want to read this comic, you would need to go to thelegendofjamieroberts.com. Here, I'm going to make a banner. If you're watching this on YouTube, there's also a link in the description. If you're watching this on Twitter, there's a link in my bio. But yeah, sadly, no Webtoon for The Legend of Jamie Roberts. But maybe something like reposting validation pages or possibly The Legend of Azumi could go on Webtoon as like a short form thing. I mean, I got other comic projects that can go on Webtoon, but Jamie Roberts is not one of them. And I think that's fine. I'm going to zoom in a little bit just to make sure that I get everything. Here we go. Now, I did not realize this until I inked Agier in this panel, but I definitely have her arms and legs not going naturally for a runner sprint. And I debated whether I wanted to redraw that or not. I'm just going to keep that in there as like a little goof. But also I'm going to interpret this as she's rounding a corner. So she's trying to keep one arm tucked in to not hit the edge. Because what she's doing in that panel is in this page, Igie is tossing a quiver full of arrows to Daniel because the arrows that he's currently using aren't doing anything to the Makta that are raiding this town currently. So she's giving him a quiver of arrows that are especially blessed to actually do some damage against the Makta right before she circles back into the palace so that she can don her armor and join into the foray. She's doing that because now the citizens who were there for the festival that was happening, now they've gone inside the palace for safety's sake. And she's like, okay, everybody's safe? Cool. Time for me to get my armor on so I can do something. So she's giving Daniel some support before she runs back in and she gets herself battle ready. But that's the general scene that's going on right now. Okay. Zoom out. Okay. I was thinking that this reference image that I had the base 4 color, and I'm glad it did. There we go. And wall background as well. For this, I'm going to turn the shade layer back on because that gives me a container. There. Because right now I have my paint bucket set to refer other layers. Ugh, excuse me. I've been up since like, God, 4:45 this morning. Yeah, the craft store that I work at has like really early morning shifts. Shifts usually start at like 6 a.m. Thankfully, my place is like just down the street from it, so I don't have to get up like stupid early or go to bed stupid early, but it is still early for some people's tastes. I don't mind. I've actually been wanting a early morning job that was not working at the bakery because I'm a bit of a morning person. Always been kind of an early bird. Like shifting to a more night owl-y schedule just riddles me with anxiety. I have learned that much about myself. Okay. Just brainstorming how I want to tackle the facade for this final panel. Go back into the inks folder, turn the facade layer off, and there we go. Turn it back on. This is the joys of having layers turn off and on again. Oh God, don't die. One sec, be right back. Okay. Thank you for excusing me. I was seeing my roommate off. She was heading in for work. By the way, thank you for hanging out during this work hour on this live stream. I'm happy to be your background noise while you focus on your stuff. I know sometimes that's why I tune into live streams too. It's like, oh God, I need some kind of background noise to occupy the part of the brain that needs noise. Okay, cool. I was doing it a little bit differently for the little tree insignias in the facade. And it worked. Gonna do another thing. It worked. Sometimes I feel like I have such clever ideas. Just gonna polish up the edges a little bit here. Okay. So that's most of that. Columns. As this house has columns. I love Daniel. He's great. I mean, I love all of my characters in The Legend of Jamie Roberts, including Basho's twin, but Basho's twin is kind of a prick. You'll find that out as the story progresses. No spoilers. Oh my gosh, excuse me. After this live stream, I might just lay down for a nap. Okay. Not quite done with the background colors yet. First, I got to get the tapestry in this final panel, and then I got to figure out the background colors for the panels in the middle of the page. I'm going to figure that out next. Lately, for background noise, I've been turning on episodes of Mystery Science Theater 3000. A lot of the times, you really don't need to look at the screen to know what the heck is going on. Because that's the thing about B movies. They do not rely on their audience most of the time to get a grip on what's going on in the story. So they will do a lot of tell instead of show. A lot of B movies do this. That's what makes them really bad. Though there are the occasional B movies that, like, you were this close to being good. And then there are other B movies that are like, you are so bad, you are a delight. Arguably, Manos, The Hands of Fate falls into the category of you are so awful, you are a delight to watch. Arguably. Because it is truly a bad movie. Space Mutiny falls into the you are so bad, you are a delight. It's like Space Mutiny is one of those movies that, like, a lot of decisions needed to be changed, and then it could have been good. Unfortunately, those decisions were not made. Oh, I've tried that. Mystery Science Theater 3000 is just too distracting. I get that. I will say, MST3K does make good entertainment while knitting. I have powered through a large chunk of my sweater because of Mystery Science Theater 3000. So, real glad for that. I'm actually almost done with the sweater. I'm working on the last sleeve. There's only 2 sleeves, but I'm working on the second sleeve. And then once the second sleeve is done, I've just got to stitch that thing together, and then the sweater is done. My roommate's cat is. Hold on a second. Did you get it off? She was playing with my houseplant that I inherited, and a part of its dead leaf just fell and landed on her butt, and then she got utterly confused.
Is everything all right over there, madam?
Oh, she looks fine. So.
Chloe says hi. Yeah, Chloe's watching on the other side of this light up screen.
Boo Boo is just utterly confused all of the time. She just has these big googly eyes. Okay, I have the paint bucket tool set to refer to editing layer. And this is what happens when I have that paint bucket tool set to refer only to editing layer, and I try to fill in these little windows here. It fills up the entire rest of the page, and that is not what I want. Okay. So to make it a little easier, I'm going to marquee this off. There. Set back to refer to other layers. Ooh. Actually, hold on. Marquee tool back. Let's select this rectangle of stuff and then hit the shift so that I can add another section. There we go. And refer only to this layer. Paint bucket. I missed a spot. Boom. Okay. Oh, forgot to change it back. There we go. Fixed it. Okay. Now to figure out the background colors for the middle panels here. Oh, okay. I think I got it. Yeah. Maybe. Hold on. Okay. Okay. You know what? I'm actually going to save coloring in the backgrounds of those middle panels for after the main characters are colored in. Because color theory, I try to implement it as much as I can, and I want to make sure that the colors all flow and keep the reader's eye moving across the page the way I want it to. Oh, catching up on comments. Also, I just got sent a clip of Belle's English dub, and I'm dying. It's beautiful. Yeah. Now that we're getting a little closer to Belle's release date, I'm seeing a lot more stuff popping up on my recommendeds pertaining to Belle. So yeah. I am looking forward to watching it. Yeah. I just don't know what to expect out of it. It's a Beauty and the Beast story, and it utilizes the director's knack for anthros. So I'm interested to see where that goes. The director of Belle is also the guy who directed Summer Wars, Wolf Children, one other movie. I'm trying to remember what the name of it is. It's like a boy and his something or other. Like, no, The Beast and His Boy, I think it is. Chloe, correct me, because I know that you're into this stuff. And he also directed the Digimon movie. That was like his directorial debut as far as feature-length movies goes, as far as I am aware. Part of the reason that he did Digimon and then he did all of those other movies was because, and he's said as much in interviews, he felt that Toei animation was too limiting, so he wanted to break out and do his own thing. Only he said it in a polite way because the Japanese are very polite. The other movies this guy has directed include Mirai, The Girl Who Leapt Through Time, and Boy and the Beast. The Girl Who Leapt Through Time is a movie that I've been wanting to watch, and I just haven't yet. Okay, I gotta bring up a image reference for Daniel here. So let me just go into chapter 5, because chapter 5 had a full body shot of Daniel, which has the colors that I need for him. Here we go. This is the working file for page 126 of the story. Here we go. Excuse me. Oh, for the source, I'm going to turn the shade layer off. That'll make this a little easier. Okay. Making sure that I hit all the little nooks and crannies. Okay. There's a number of you who are watching right now who use Instagram pretty regularly. Am I bonkers, or did the algorithm change? Because lately, the stuff that I've been posting, granted, I've been off the platform for a while, but still, the stuff that I've been posting has not been doing so hot. And this was true before my social media hiatus. Because, like, I feel like I'm posting my stuff fairly consistently, but it's getting fewer and fewer, like, views and notes and comments. Like, I'm not getting a ton. In fact, if anything, I have noticed on Instagram, and this is part of the reason why I took the social media hiatus off of Instagram. A lot of the times when I made a post on there, within 5 minutes, there would be bots posting comments on my posts. And all of the bots would be like, DM us on such and such site, or get followers through such and such site. And I'm like, yeah, you're definitely a bot. And it's very annoying that you keep popping up here. And for a while, those were the only comments that I was getting on Instagram related things. So I'm wondering if it's even worth keeping the platform around as, you know, part of the work that I do. I'm honestly considering just not being on there anymore. And on the one hand, I do want to post more on TikTok. On the other hand, TikTok has its own issues. So I'm really just throwing it. I'm not sure what next. Okay, good. I'm glad I'm not the only one who noticed it. Chloe was like, to my knowledge, the algorithm changed so that it rewards frequent posting by boosting them more regularly, but I'm not too savvy on it. Like posting multiple times a day sort of thing. I mean, I can see that being a thing, but it's also like, oh, good Lord, I don't want to post on Instagram multiple times a day. But I don't know if the bots are a direct side effect of that, but it is weird. Yeah, yeah, it is very weird. And also, I just have been noticing that more and more artists that I either like or follow are just like, yeah, you know what? I'm just going to leave Instagram. And I'm like, you know what, though? You might be onto something there. Because it's kind of the same vibe as people being like, I'm going to leave Facebook. And Instagram is owned by Facebook, and Facebook is not doing great. Oh, I'm sorry. Meta is not doing great. One of the stupidest things that they could have done. I mean, Facebook is great if you are a boomer. I am not a boomer. So sorry, but I am thinking about just leaving Instagram. Um, and maybe just posting on Ko-fi and my website the same way that I like post on Instagram, just being like, click like a snapshot or like a photo or something and being like, here's what I'm working on. Just doing that more often. Yeah, but I also know that TikTok is where today's youngins are hanging out. And that's kind of the audience that I need for the stuff that I make. So I just transitioned to there. So when it comes to marketing and getting your stuff out there, you go where your audience is at. And also Tumblr. Tumblr is a strange little beast. I love it, but it is a strange little beast. It operates by its own rules, and I love it for that. Oh, Daniel's showing gums in that panel. Hold on. Thomas! Thank you. Oh,
I missed a spot. Hold on.
I missed several spots, actually. There's always Pillow Fort and Artful. Both are pretty nice websites, but both are very new, so traffic can be slow. That's true. I keep forgetting that Artful is a thing. I actually have an account for it. I just haven't posted on there like at all. But that it does exist. But Pillow Fort and Artful have no bots and no corporate baloney, so good to know. I do feel like part of the reason that Tumblr is its own beast is because people keep trying to monetize it, and there is just no monetizing Tumblr. You cannot monetize Tumblr. Tumblr is anti-corporate, no matter how you slice it. So I do appreciate it for that. But Pillow Fort and Artful, I haven't gone on Pillow Fort yet, but I may give that a shot. Artful, I'll revisit it because it's been a hot minute. I am thinking though that if I share The Legend of Jamie Roberts in other places, it would need to be on platforms like Pillow Fort and Artful because like the corporate run places are not going to be cool with the non-sexual spirit nudity that's on some of these pages of The Legend of Jamie Roberts. So yeah. Which, by the way, in this chapter, chapter 6, there will be eventually a revisit to the Way, which is the Korith spirit world in The Legend of Jamie Roberts. But there will be a revisit into the Way. So there will be spirit nudity again. Boy, that'll make for a fun live stream experience if I live stream that stuff. I may just not stream making Jamie Roberts pages for a stretch. It kind of depends on how the pages are composed because, like, there's not nudity on every page, obviously, but it is present. And I'm not willing to change that. I don't want to change that because it's Spirit World. Spirit World operates on its own rules. Now, there is another comic I'm working on right now called Puzzle Spell. That one is very deliberately all ages, and that could be posted in as many places as I want. So I'm going to see about tweaking it a little bit and getting it on a Webtoon and Pappas. Try to get more eyeballs on it. Because there are readers on Webtoon and Pappas. It's just a matter of getting them to know that my stuff exists. Kickstarter is great for growing an audience, though. Just throwing that out there. The Kickstarter search engine, I don't know how Kickstarter search engine does it, but it like It understands what you like and what you want to support. And it is very good at popping up with recommendations for you. So keep up the wizardry, Kickstarter. You are doing great. I got a lot more readers as a result of the Kickstarter for The Legend of Jamie Roberts Volume 1. Thank you. I am not opposed. Okay. So for this, I'm going to be switching back and forth between having the paint bucket be refer only to editing layer and refer to multiple layers. I'm going to be switching back and forth between both of those functionalities while inking stuff and coloring stuff in. Just depends on what that thing is and what else is going on in the page and whatnot.
Oh, tattoo. Gotta color in that tattoo.
That reminds me, now that The Legend of Jamie Roberts Volume 1 is in print, I'm going to see about getting this gang tattoo. This like band with triangles and dots. I want to see about getting that tattooed on my left arm. Because that's the sign of, hey, I'm part of Captain O'Malley's pirate gang. And I had made a promise to myself that if The Legend of Jamie Roberts got its first book in print, that I would get that tattoo on my arm. Now I got to actually make it happen in a safe way. Excuse me. Okay, as far as the stream goes, probably going to go for a few more minutes. Just, I'm sorry. I was looking at the StreamYard interface, so that gave me an extra like step away from the comic pages instead of being like right up in there. And just looking at the pages, I'm like, oh man, I love Daniel so much. I love his stupid expressions. I love how much of a himbo that he is. I adore him to pieces. I mean, I love all of my characters, and I especially love Jamie Roberts. Jamie Roberts, they have a special place in my heart. But Thomas and Daniel are like, oh, I love these two himbos so much. Daniel a little bit more of a himbo than Thomas. Thomas has a bit more brains. Daniel is just like he is the heart on the sleeve. That is his persona, and he is precious, and I love him. I mean, there's a reason why in chapter 4, he was like, do you think we should maybe put this stolen orb back? She seemed really upset that it was gone. And he's the one who thinks of, in chapter 1, he's the one who thinks of the rest of the pirate crew when Jamie and Thomas are like, hey, let's go treasure hunting. And then Daniel's like, oh, I wonder what the crew's going to say about it. And it's like, oh, sweet precious Babu, you're thinking of so many other people before you think of yourself. You precious himbo. You know, I really should have just used Daniel as like an example for the dude on my Discord server, because there was a dude on my Discord server who was like, what's a himbo? I should have just said Daniel from The Legend of Jamie Roberts. Because he is He very much is. I make no qualms about that. Let's try that again. There we go. Honestly, I'm thinking about possibly playing an MST3K episode as background noise after this, but also considering just playing Into the Woods, the original Broadway show, the one with Bernadette Peters as the witch, aka the best version of Into the Woods. Like, I have not seen the Disney version, but I can already tell you that the Broadway version is better. There's actually a video essayist on YouTube, goes by the username Sideways, who talked about the musical moral of Into the Woods, and he talks about how good Into the Woods is as a musical. So if you want to know why it is that Into the Woods is as good as it is, check that video out. It is actually quite good. He also did an entire video about why the Tom Hooper Les Miserables adaptation is worse than you think it is. And there's a lot about it that I'm like, oh, God, I did not realize that that is what they did. And then they just ramped that up to 11 for Cats. And that's why Cats was awful. I mean, he also did an entire video about why Cats, the 2019 Tom Hooper movie, is also worse than you thought on a musical standpoint, not even from like a technical standpoint, because everybody talks about like the really bad visual effects of that movie. No, I'm talking about like the actual music. Like he talks about why the actual music for that adaptation was capital N not good. Honestly, I just love seeing people on YouTube being in their element and talking about stuff. Like, that's why I watch Sideways, the YouTube essayist, because you can tell anytime that he talks about music, that is his element. And he is 110% in it. Like, he talks about looking at vocal tech textbooks, and I'm like, this is a grade S nerd. This is a grade S music nerd, and thank goodness for that. Oop. I missed a spot in his nose. There we go. I got it. Oh, excuse me. Okay, now I gotta color in Agier, and Agier requires a different comic page for reference. Let me see if I can find one of her that has a. Oh, right here. Oh, I will say this, because there are comic artists out there who will look at AGA and be like, isn't her skin too dark for printer purposes? Because printers print in CMYK, and CMYK has its own limitations in terms of color compared to RGB. And RGB is what you see on the computer screen. I will say this. When I got The Legend of Jamie Roberts Volume 1, and I looked at all of the pages where Ichie was very prominent, I did not detect any issues. Like, her skin came out just fine. But there will be comics creators out there. Let's err on the side of caution and say that they have good intentions, because most of them do. But there are some well-meaning, mostly, comics creators and editors who would look at Ichie here and say, no, her skin is too dark. You need to make it paler. And I would give them pushback because, like I said, I did test prints of her. She came out just fine. I don't need to make her paler for the sake of the printer. She's perfectly fine. Oh, I need to turn the shadows off in that source material as well. There we go. Sorry, I was just thinking about the, I don't know if I would want to call it a day job necessarily, but like the work that I do at the craft store that I started working at recently, because excuse me, I will say the labor shortage is very, very real, because we just had another person, at least this person turned in their 2 weeks notice. Thank you for doing that, person that I'm not going to name for the sake of privacy. But when this person leaves, unless we get more people, I will be the only person on the replenishment crew for this store. And I've worked at this craft store before, and usually you have like at least 10 people, not counting the managers. And now pretty soon we're going to be just down to me. I mean, I'm cool. I'm not sure that I can do the work of 10 people. We'll see what happens. There are some people who work at this store currently who are in other departments who are like, hey, I can come in and help on some days. And thank you for that, the people who can do that. But like, whew. Part of the reason that this latest person is leaving is because they are, from what I can gather, a single mom. And the other job that they found is in the same vein as what we do at this craft store already, which is just stocking the shelves. But this new job that she found pays better. And, as a single parent with, kids to take care of, and you're probably the only person helping to pay for the roof over their head, like, that matters. I'm not looking to change this job anytime soon. Because this craft store, it pays more than the bakery did. And I didn't have to fight tooth and nail for it. And discounted art supplies. There's other benefits too, but that's one of the big ones. And also, it's just, I really like being able to have a job that, like, you go to, you do the thing, and then when you clock out, you're done, and it's just part-time, and you do it like first thing in the morning, so you get it out of the way and you have the entire rest of the day to yourself. I love that kind of setup, and I kind of wish more jobs did that. Unfortunately, a lot of them don't. And I'll get to the rest of that other panel in a bit. I'm going to tackle this one first. Oop. There. In full honesty, though, regarding working at the craft store, there are 2 cashiers that are now under quarantine because they tested positive. So there's a little sign up sheet to be like, hey, I can help cover these shifts. And I really don't want to fill out that sheet because it's cashier shifts. I believe it or not, like, and I'm saying this as somebody who does usually love going to comic conventions, showing off my stuff, interacting with the customers, making sales, and all that stuff. I hate being a cashier with a fiery passion. Like, and this is weird because, like, I'm gonna toot my own horn for a second. I do okay sales wise, like, at least in person. Doing sales online is a completely different beast, but like in person, doing sales and showing off my comics and doing the convention circuit and all of that stuff, I don't mind that. That stuff I do like doing, but being a cashier at a craft store is like my least favorite thing. I do not like it. I wish I did. I do not like it. Unfortunately, all those extra shifts that are available are those kinds of shifts. So I'm like, I'm going to let other people who need this money more than me sign up first. So far, nobody has. That does worry me a bit. I also know that, weirdly, there's a lot of people who work at this craft store that I currently work at who have second shifts at Starbucks. And I'm like, I understand the need to hold down multiple jobs, but if you're working at Starbucks already, just stay there. Oh, just catching up on comments really quick. We were talking about Into the Woods before. The only good thing about the Disney version is Agony. The original Broadway is far superior. I have not seen the Disney version of Agony. I will believe you that it is good because I think Chris Pines is one of the princes. I mean, Chris Pines is great. Also, Agony is just a great song. Like, it is so good lyrically. Like, agony far more painful than yours. Like, it's great. I love it. Oh, I worked at Kmart long ago. I know the pain of having a fraction of the necessary staff. Yeah. I mean, in retail, you're going to have, like, you're going to be short staffed, but like, what's happening at this particular craft store in particular is like, oof, I've seen staff shortages. This is probably the most ridiculous that I have ever seen it. Because, like, the first time that I worked for this company, I worked at a different store and that had staff shortages too. Like, realistically, we probably should have had like 10 people working there, and we had like 6 or 7 on the replenishment crew when we should have had 10. But like, whew, what's happening right now is a whole new level of ridiculous. But alternatively, this could be a good window of opportunity for making more things automatic and just making a lot more things less dependent on people doing the task. I don't necessarily want to say make the computers do it, because computers are an entirely separate problem and sometimes they can cause more problems than they solve. But it's still like, if there is a way that we can make some tasks a hell of a lot smoother so that it cuts labor time, by all means, we need to do more of that. So I think with these like staff shortages, there needs to be a lot more of that happening. We will see. Okay, I'm going to be streaming for a couple more minutes. Because, hey, I need breaks too. Okay. Now, this was something that I had originally thought would be a goof, but I'm going to keep this in the final page anyway. So, Igie in page 114 here, you may notice, is not wearing a cloth over the front of their trousers, over the front of her trousers. But in page 130, she is. And I'm going to write that as she had started the process of donning her armor and then realized Daniel's going to need some help. So before she could get the rest of the way donned, she took a pause, grabbed what she needed, darted out, pass, is going to dart back in. So this cloth that she's wearing in front of the trousers is going to be part of the armor ensemble that she's going to be wearing in later pages. She had started the process. She had to pause it really fast. That's how I'm going to have that. Also, I just left it in there because I thought it looked cool. Because I had inked in other versions where the cloth was not there, and I'm like, but it's cooler to have it there. So I'm just leaving it in. Okay, it's 3:30. Let's wrap it up here. If you have the means and you liked what you saw, consider leaving a tip at ko-fi.com/Kelsey D. Crawford. Link on the screen. Link also in the doobly-doo if you're watching on YouTube. Link in my profile if you're watching on Twitch or Twitter. Because this is streaming on multiple places at the same time. What else? I'll be streaming again on Saturday. I did not stream this past Saturday because the Friday before kicked my butt and I was just too tired. So moving forward, the caveat for these live streams is if I'm too tired to do it, I'm just not going to do it. And that's going to be true of the Saturday stream. Like, if I'm too tired, I'm just not going to do it. But tentatively, it is happening. This Saturday, what date is that? The 15th. Saturday, the 15th, 2 p.m. Eastern, because that's my time zone. Do the math how you will to figure that out. But I stream every Tuesday and Saturday here on YouTube and Twitch and Twitter now. I am looking to branch into doing live streams on other platforms like TikTok, maybe Instagram. It depends. I'm figuring out the setups for those. We'll be figuring out the setups for those. Don't judge me. That's kind of all I got. Oh, and I did mention the sticker club earlier in this stream. So you can join that at the link on the screen. There's also a link in the doobly-doo or in my profile, depending on what platform you are watching this on. Yeah. Also, I still have prints on sale. All of my prints are 50% off. Use the link in the description if you are watching on YouTube to get that discount. I believe there is also a link on my link tree, and I'll show that on the screen too. Linktree/KelseyD. That's all I got for now. Let me stop the screen share really quick. There we go. Okay. That's all I got for now. Thank you all for watching. I hope this helped you get through the work that you got going on. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Hope to catch you on Saturday. You are awesome.